If you've ever ignored a phone call because you did not recognize the number, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back. Like and comment. Get involved in the chat. It is the best chat out there. Get in there and see why it is the best chat out there. We got another day here where we're going to make some money. Got my main man 13 in the back. Let's get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Happy Tuesday. We are back for another episode of Live Trading. And perhaps more importantly, we are one day closer to the draft and all of the awesome draft content that we are going to be doing here at Benzinga. Make sure you check us out from morning to night on Thursday on YouTube. Won't cost you a dime. Smash up that like and subscribe. It really, really helps us out. Let's go ahead and get rolling with what we got here today. I'm gonna bring on my main man 13. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing all right.
I know I messed that up there. I've got a lot of coffee flowing through the veins. I messed up your name there. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Sometimes my brain works faster than my mouth too.
Yeah, that's I speak trader, so I get that. No, totally get that. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing just fine. Just hanging out, looking at what's going on in the market. Got a list of things that are moving. So let's see if we can capture some movement.
All right, let's talk about it. So what we did yesterday, let's first start off with the SPY and what we did yesterday. Now, we defended the 490. We talked about that 492 level that we saw in the pre-market. We ended up not seeing that get tested in the regular session. That I'm carrying over from yesterday. I still absolutely want to see that level tested in the regular session when the big boys are in play here. However, yesterday, we actually traded up a little bit. Some might call this a neutral candle. I'll get 13's opinion here in a sec. We did bounce a little bit. Now, we actually traded above 500. In fact, for a brief time, we traded above 502. We were unable to get to that 503 level that we've identified here. But we were unable to close above 500. So here we are again in the pre-market, a little bit strong here today. We're trading up. We are above 500. We're actually above 501. So I want to see if we actually get a close here on the SPY above the 500 level here today. 13, I know you're probably also looking at that 503 level. What say you here on the SPY?
Yeah, yesterday's candle is sort of neutral. We have a regular sized body with equally length wicks on the top and bottom. So we had some price action in both directions yesterday, and just ultimately closed between the 5% pullback level and 500. That's a level. That's an area I wanted to see close between since last week. This big down move that we've had over the past 3 weeks, I'm looking for there to be a little bit of a rebound this week. So far, we're getting that. I don't anticipate we're going to see too much of a rebound because we are putting in a bit of a bear flag with this current formation that we're getting over the past few weeks here. So probably could see 503, 505. I'm not anticipating or expecting the SPY to trade up too much, just a little bit higher, and then we should be ultimately going lower. So it's really going to depend upon a couple of things this week: earnings, economic news. We get some really big reports later on. We have some big earnings reports starting today. We had some yesterday, but the really big ones really start to come out today, tomorrow, and Thursday. And we're going to probably get a lot of volatility with those as well. So I'm expecting there to be some chopping back and forth, slightly higher, and then ultimately we'll go lower later this week and just kind of fall out of bed.
Okay, so interesting. First of all, you're absolutely right. We do have earnings are really kind of kicking off today. Tonight's are headlined by Tesla. We did have GE earlier this morning. That is trading higher here. So keep that in mind. Now, as regard to what you were saying about the SPY here is that weekly chart, and you can see we've actually 3 consecutive down weeks. This is the first time since September of 2023. So clearly a change in sentiment here. The interesting part about this week's candle is so far we're completely inside last week's candle. So I want to see if we stay inside that and kind of make that a, consolidation, maybe bounce, dead cat bounce, or just a regression back to the mean, or do we actually end up breaking the downside of this candle and traveling lower this week? I too, in the near future, am looking for a little bit lower. I just can't tell you exactly what day that's going to happen.
Yeah, I really don't know if we're going to see new lows this week, but I think this rebound will end sometime later this week.
So there you go. Okay, really good stuff here with the SPY. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the bigger names that are going on here. First one I want to talk about is GE. We mentioned this. This is ticker GE Aerospace. First of all, if you look at the daily chart here, we're really kind of we're trading up into this resistance area. Got that here about what, 160, I think this is. Yeah, 160 right up here, maybe call it 159. They obviously reported earnings here today. High print in the pre-market, 158.84 on GE. So we'll see if this ends up trading up a little bit more here. Do we break into new highs here on GE? I saw someone else mentioning Spotify in the chat here earlier. So Spotify, also one of those stocks that has reported earnings here this morning. Looks like the conference call is already over as well. Spotify trading up and butting up against that 305 spot. Some big move here, almost a 30-point move here in Spotify. Actually over 30, 32 and a half. 12% here on Spotify. Really good beat there. Okay, let's take a look at some of the smaller names on the movers tool. We do have some things that are in play here today. We'll go ahead and take a look at them. I'm going to start with SMFL. This is one that we've seen a number of times before. I can't remember if this was recently a FinQuit pick by someone or something like that. Someone will have to correct me on that. We did see some real big volume yesterday at the open. This pushed us into the pre-market resistance, which we were unable to break. Now, the interesting part about that is we're seeing something very similar here today. We had an impulse move that took us up to about 7. We were roundly rejected at 7. We pulled back close to 5, although didn't quite hit it, and now we're gearing up to go back towards that 7 level. So I want to see, do we get the same thing we had yesterday where we get straight up rejected, halted on the way back down, and then unable to get back up to that spot? Or do we actually have some more strength here, SMFL? 13, I know you were taking a look at this in the pre-market here. What are you thinking for SMFL today?
It looks like it's going to be a decent trading vehicle, but I think the company's a bit scummy because it's doing that same thing that the other one I was talking about. I think it was either last week or earlier this week, where they do a whole bunch of offerings and then they reverse split. Well, funny enough, this one's actually moving on a reverse split. They did a reverse split yesterday, and now they have 110,000 shares. 110,000. They've also they've been frequently doing reverse splits. They did it all last year. They did 3 of them. They had a 1 for 3 on October 27th, another 1 for 3 on August 2nd, and then a 1 for 50 on April 24th. So this company just loves to, issue new shares, raise cash, and then reverse split. It's just basically an ATM, or at least this company's being treated that way by the runners of the company. But anyway, aside from that, very low float, should be easy to move around. I think this is going to be a great trading vehicle. I just wouldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, so really good stuff there, outlining how it's likely to trade based on its share structure. We've already talked about some of the key levels, and then identifying how this has actually traded in the past. That does kind of feel scammy or scummy or whatever, whatever you want to explain. So really, really good point there. Again, if you're trading any of these high risk names, and make no mistake about it, that's what this is. If you're trading any of these high risk names, make sure you pay yourself on the way up if you do get those gains. Really good stuff there. 13 SMFL. Next here is going to be HWH. This is HWH International. This stock actually popped here this morning. Went about as high as 230, but has broken now beneath the VWAP and beneath the $2 round level. I don't have anything for this one here in the news feed. Let me see if there's
there is nothing.
Yep, there is nothing. Okay, so just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Nothing fresh here. HWH. This is not a stock that I've ever pulled up in my broker before. We didn't really do a whole lot yesterday. Today, there seems to be a big volume pop that's really kind of decreased, or that volume has really kind of decreased. I really want to see that expand before I think that this is anything right here. No position, not in any rush to trade this one.
Yeah, me neither. Only 2.4 million shares in the float. No news, no reverse splits. Don't really know what this is going on, other than it's a low float that's easy to move around. Somebody decided, hey, let's see if we can make money with this thing, and started pushing it around. So I don't really have any other color to add to that one. HW.
Yeah, we'll see if this one gives us any type of technical setup. 13, but I'm with you there. Now here, go ahead. Sorry,
real quick. There's a question in the chat about how we're feeling about Tesla. I'd like to answer that, but after we get through these, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I just kind of looking ahead here. We've got about 14 minutes till we open. I want to cover Pali, IBRX, AGBA, and then we'll maybe mention Silo and NIVF because that was from yesterday. And then we'll absolutely go into those. I want to take a look at Tesla too. Lion Atlas is talking about Cooler and Gur and Agba, so there are definitely a bunch of other stocks that we'll take a look at. We will get to your Tesla question, Ryan. Good name, by the way. Don't worry about that. Let's just finish up with some of these. Movers here real quick. Pali was the next on that list. 13. Do we consider this one a former ex-girlfriend? I feel like we were just trading this one recently. This had a huge move up in the pre-market last week, Tuesday, April 16th. It really kind of fell the rest of the day. There was maybe one move in there in the middle where it kind of bounced and gave you a long side trade. But for the most part, this was just the backside of the move after that pre-market move. The very next day, we did pop kind of muted volume here, and then we kind of just traded back down into the 5 area. Today, it looks like we've traded above 8. We do have a catalyst here. Palisade Bioshares trading higher after the company entered a collaboration with Strand Life Sciences, company I've never heard of. Maybe you've got some color on that. We'll see if Pali, at least for the next move here, I want to see Pali kind of take out this VWAP. And I also really want to pay attention to the volume here. If we look back at the last move, volume really kind of told the story, right? We had the huge pop right at the open that resulted in a really big pullback from the highs. We pulled back from about 969 to 629. So about 30% of the entire stock, we pulled back right off the open there. Once that kind of shook those people out, the volume expanded a little bit, and that's what gave us that little upside move back towards the VWAP. But that volume, collapsed pretty quickly, and we resumed the downtrend. So if we apply that same thing here to today, I want to make sure that I'm catching the move where the volume is expanding instead of where the volume is contracting. Now, the one caveat here is that if we're trying to bottom pick this, meaning if we think that this has really kind of slowed down and maybe has shaken out all of those weekends, we'll take a look at that. But again, going to use the volume there to confirm that. And if we don't get it, no trade here. So sorry about that. A little bit long-winded here on Pali, but we recently saw this one, and this is kind of fresh in the hopper here. What are you seeing on Pali?
I exercise caution with Pali. Not that this couldn't be a great trading vehicle today. I still expect that. But when I look at the daily chart, and I could see that we did have, this was a previous runner. We did not go much higher on the days that it had the big news that drove it up. Let's take a look at April 16th as an example.
Yes, sir.
That was one of the days where we had a big move in Pali. That was off of an announcement of a completion of analysis of one of their drugs. So that it was moving on an announcement. Now today, it's moving on a collaboration. So these announcements, the reason why this particular stock is moving doesn't really carry a whole lot of weight, in my opinion. So we could end up seeing this big move out of the gate and then just tank the rest of the day like it did on April 16th. So just be very, very careful with this one. It does have 727,000 shares in the float, so less than 1 million, very easy to move around. It did do a reverse split 1 for 15 on April 8th. So there's a lot of reasons to be careful with this one. It's going to be very, very quick moving, and I'm not sure that the news is very strong. So we might not see a lot of upside potential here.
Okay, really good stuff there on Pali. Next here is going to be IBRX. This is Immunity Bio. We actually popped in the after hours yesterday, popped again here in the pre-market, although we've kind of evened back out, come back towards that 6 level. VWAP here at 616, so really not far away from that. Immunity Bio shares trading higher after the company announced FDA approval for Anktiva. That's Anktiva. If I recall, this came out, this was yesterday, fairly late at night, 10 p.m. almost, 10 p.m. Eastern there. So looks like this is actually reacting here today. Interestingly, that 10 p.m. time, market was closed. The after hours was closed. So it looks like someone knew about this ahead of time, or it was leaked or something of that nature. Regardless, we're holding that 6 level here today. This likely to be in play here today. I wouldn't be surprised if the first move out of the gate was an attempt at this VWAP. Can't really tell you where it goes when it gets there. IBRX in play here today. You got anything on this one? This much bigger float.
Yes.
So I don't know if this one's going to be pushed around like some of the others. Kind of keep that in mind.
Well, there is one little tidbit of info here that might help to get pushed around. It has a almost 39% short interest and 11.8 days to cover. So this on this news could squeeze and continue to squeeze. It's probably, I mean, it's squeezing right now, but this could continue to squeeze. I don't know how hard or how high this is going to squeeze to, but yes, that 140 million share float does make it a lot harder to move around, except we do have that short interest that might change that. So if we see shorts covering, then this is a good one to trade. Just be, I really don't know what else to add to that, except that it's the short squeeze is the thing that's moving this one mostly here today on top of that FDA approval news.
Okay, real good stuff there. By the way, while we're talking here, SMFL, which was the first stock on our list, new highs here. Chat, looks like you guys are all over that, so that's going here. We're almost done here real quick. Got about 7 minutes till we open here. Next one here is going to be NIVF. This was one from yesterday. This actually did a fairly good job holding in there. I want to see if this breaks away in either direction. Remember, the stock was 80 cents prior to yesterday. Today, it's $1.37. Perhaps we gear up here. First spot I'd be looking at for is a takeout of maybe 145-ish. We'll see what happens when the market actually opens, what the level 2 looks like and where some of that order flow is. You got anything on NIVF?
I wasn't watching or covering this one this morning, so I really don't. The only thing I'm going to be looking at with this one is if it's just a move off relative volume, which appears to be the case. I don't think there's anything new this morning. No,
there was nothing new there. Really good stuff there. Last one here, and there is something new here. This is going to be Silo, ticker SILO. This is Silo Pharma. Silo Pharma shares trading higher after the company announced intranasal delivery of SPC-15 showed rapid and effective drug exposure for PTSD therapy. So there you go. Silo, you can see this did pop as high as 280, almost completely round tripped here. But what that means is that if this starts to gear up, especially if the volume cooperates, we actually have a decent level on a move back towards the VWAP here at 245. So decent setup if Silo can go here, but we don't know if that's going to be the case. The other one that's on the list here that all of you folks are watching at is going to be AGBA. This was the stock du jour yesterday as this moved off the 150 handle and closed almost at 250, closed about 240 here. Today, we've actually tested 3. I expect some more tests of 3 here today. However, if this does start to pull back considerably, just make sure you have a plan. Because this could really kind of come back in as there was some of that air. Okay, let's get over to some of those bigger stocks. Ryan, again, great name. Wanted to take a look at Tesla here. Let me get the actual comment here because I think you said, how are you both feeling about Tesla? Well, first of all, I feel real good about Tesla in terms of trading because this seems to give us opportunities every single day. This seems to give us 1 to 4 point swings on a regular basis, which is great for what we're trying to do here. Yesterday, one of the things that you saw, we were real weak in the pre-market. We bounced strong right out of the open and then sold right back down to those lows. Now, we defended those lows. We kind of held in here. So to me, do we really kind of curl back up and test maybe this 147, about 4 points away from where we're at? However, if you take a look at the daily chart here, it doesn't look good. This, to me, sure looks like this stock is going lower. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. The EV craze, that's already kind of fizzling. That might need a charge at some point in the future. We'll see if it ends up getting that. Tesla here, I think I like this a little bit lower over the long term, but that doesn't mean that today could go gangbusters. So we'll take a look at this. We'll watch Tesla on the regular.
Yeah, I don't know if I would hold Tesla into the earnings. It probably might be a very good trade considering how much it's sold off, and the price action we've been getting over the past month with this. So it's a pretty good price for a bounce, but I still think that even after that bounce, it's probably going to end up going lower. some things to consider with Tesla is that they're having a really hard time competing with some of these heavily subsidized China EVs. They've had to cut prices. They're still trying to expand. They actually are planning on starting the construction of a second factory in China in May for commercial battery packs. They're trying to secure land in India for a $3 billion factory. And they also are going to try to have a $10 billion Mexico factory in Monterrey up by 2026, so they can start production on vehicles out of there. So they still have plans to expand and grow, and that's great. But I think that competition is really starting to eat at them, and it's going to be interesting what happens over the next couple of years with the competition coming up. The third problem that I have with this is that EVs in general could end up getting completely passed up by something else. And I'm thinking that the EV toll space is really starting to look more and more attractive. And I'm not saying that we're all going to be in flying cars anytime soon, but it's really starting to get a lot of momentum, a lot of heavy investment, and we could see fewer cars on the road in the future as a result.
Yeah, just as kind of a reminder here with the EV craze, I'm not willing to bet the farm on that. Juan Carlos here in the chat said we need government to step in and push the EV narrative. Toyota EV is, I'm not even sure I know what those looks like, a neutral face and then bacon. I don't know if that's even what it is. I would respectfully disagree. I don't think the government should put their hands on anything. Anything the government seems to put their hands on goes to crap. I would not do that. The other thing is here, I think hybrid is probably the way to go. Yeah. You were talking about something else replacing this completely. That might be hydrogen down the road. Yeah, don't forget these batteries are mined basically with slave labor, kids pulling cobalt and lithium out of the grounds with their bare hands. In third world countries, the batteries are not recyclable. A lot of problems with this. This was sold as like a really green initiative, and that's just not the case. There might be something else to really kind of take this over. You know, we were having a discussion about Tesla in the happy hour yesterday, and it seemed like a lot of the opinion on the style of Tesla has really changed. To me, I think the cars are completely boring. There's nothing really great. I think the Cybertruck is one of the biggest monstrosities I've ever seen. It is so ugly. They're all recalled, by the way. So that's going on here. I don't know. I like what Tesla's trying to do. I'm not sure about the stock. I like the stock lower here.
Yeah, I was reading STFU's comment. That was funny. We have less than a minute before we open, but yeah, I don't think that the Cybertruck was a really good move, and that's probably going to set them back. It's just really hard for them to compete right now when you know competing companies from China are just kind of getting handed money, where Tesla isn't, from the Chinese government. So that makes them very cheap to produce and sell. So it's exactly, I think, to your point about why government shouldn't get involved, because now you have the CCP completely pricing out or helping price out all these other manufacturers around the globe with their cheap crap cars. Anyway,
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Okay. AJ Jay Walker saying the Cybertruck is barely bullet resistant. Sad. LOL. I read a story yesterday about some guy that drove it through a car wash and it basically bricked it. Which, I mean, that sucks. So I'm not trying to laugh at somebody else's misfortune, but man, oh man, that sucks. I'm someone that loves to keep their car clean. Anyway, okay.
SMFL going higher.
CYN penny stock looks like that's trying to go higher here. That's all I have on the scanner so far. We'll see what changes here. SMFL, that first move is down. Let's see if this bounces here at the VWAP SMFL.
Pali popped out of the gate, but it's starting to drift down. It looks like IBRX going down. Looks like somewhere between 565 and 575 could be a bottom for IBRX before it reverses. Getting mentioned on Cooler, that had news this morning that some of their components are going to be in AI-enabled drones and being sent to Ukraine. So that's interesting.
Say that one more time. I missed that.
That's Cooler. Some of their there's a headline in there. I'll read it to you. But yeah, okay. So completes urgent battery cell delivery for AI-enabled drone missions in Ukraine. So that's pretty cool. PLTR had a pop out of the gate. Not sure what to make of that. I'll have to look and see if there's news.
NIVF here looks like this is trying to take out the highs here. 146. Remember, this is one of the first spots that we took a look at yesterday. 150 is where this thing knifed from yesterday. NIVF, we might be going higher here. Here's 150 up.
Okay, so if you look to the left from yesterday,
bang, bang, here it goes right through. Sorry, I got excited again. 13.
No worries. This is the consolidation area that we're trying to break through here. So to your point about it knifing yesterday, this is where it could pull back significantly because that consolidation is pretty thick.
SPY, by the way, as we're looking at this, SPY butting up to that 502 level, unable to take that out yet. We'll see. It's early.
SMFL halted. Downside.
SMFL halted. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Benzinga Pro. Halted to the downside there on that pullback. Trying to break 7, couldn't, bang, halted downside 616. By the way, Spotify, one of the bigger stocks that we took a look at here, this is actually taking the next leg higher here on Spotify. So a huge move on earnings. Looks like it's trying to go here today. I'd be interested if anyone's trying to trade this, maybe a gap and go 9 EMA. Let me know on Spotify. This one looks pretty decent here. Pali now starting to rip. Sorry if I just cut you off.
No worries. I was just mentioning Lion Atlas. He's not growling. He's actually mentioning GUR. That's getting some momentum out of the gate here, but it's not really breaking out of the consolidation we put in the pre-market. So keep an eye on that one. It could start to move up. The high in the pre-market is 670 for GRRR.
Okay, so here's Pali. Looks like it's slowing down here about 650. Here is Gorilla Technology Group. This is GUR. We'll see if 650 can actually. This one's fun when we're trading this because we get to go GUR and all the. Looks like Lion Atlas was already growling in the chat. Now
that's what I was saying. Yeah,
I know it's just a lot of fun. I like little names like this. That's awesome stuff. Okay.
NVIF or NIVF got to 160. We're getting some, chopping around with AGBA.
Affirm was getting some mentions here this morning. So Affirm shares trading lower following a report indicating Walmart's majority-owned Startup One has begun offering buy now, pay later service. Affirm traded down on that news. Soon as the market opened, we traded back up to green. It's actually at a red-green move there. One of the things that I saw this morning is that Discover, which is the 8th largest credit card company in the United States, said that their credit card delinquencies jumped an entire % last month. Americans are still spending money. They've depleted their savings. They're putting it on credit cards. Interest rates are to the moon. I'm telling you, I really feel like this is going to be bad later on. I think it's really going to be bad for buy now, pay later. I think we're in agreement on that, 13. I don't think you like these buy now, pay later companies either. I'm with you.
No, and what's worse is that HELOCs are on the rise too. So that could mean one of two things.
There you go.
Either homeowners are cashing out to pay off their credit cards, or they're doing the exact opposite and making it worse by financing their lifestyle. Now, if they're not paying off their credit cards with the HELOCs, we're getting Pali to go here, by the way. If they're not getting that money out to pay off credit cards and have their interest payments be much lower, well, then they're just compounding interest or they're compounding debt upon debt at that point. Then that's just not good. If you're not using your HELOC to pay off your credit cards and you have that kind of debt where you can't use your credit cards anymore, you're going to be in a world of hurt later.
Yeah, and Jay Walker here. I'm really not sure what your name is supposed to be, so I'm just going to call you Jay Walker. Might even call you Walker.
Ooh, IBRX with a knife.
Which one?
IBRX.
Let me bring that up here while I address this comment. I use my credit card for cash back. If I can't afford it, I don't buy it. Let me stop you right there because that sentence is the key to this entire statement. If you can't afford it, you don't buy it. That is not the case for everybody here or for a majority, I would say, in this country. Sure doesn't feel like that, but I like getting 2% cash back on everything. This is exactly the strategy that I use. The only card I use is my Costco credit card. Obviously, I use it at Costco, but I use it everywhere else because of the tiered cash back. I end up getting a whole bunch, but I too, like you, I like a lot of expensive things too, but I don't go buying stuff that I can't pay for. That's how you get yourself in trouble. No, I know what AKA means. I just don't know what he's trying to accomplish with AKA Jaywalker. So I'm just going to call him Jaywalker instead of the entire name. Ken, I'm just trying to share lessons that I've learned. Look, I'll tell you what, one of the biggest financial literacy lessons for me came in my early 20s, where I screwed up with a credit card, and I eventually ended up negotiating with them and having them write off some of my balance. That absolutely destroyed my credit. And from that day forward, I worked to build that back up. And here we are sitting at an 800 credit score. So this is important to me because I went through it. This actually stopped me from being able to buy my first house until I repaired some of that. So this is actually really, really personal to me. And if there's anything I can do to kind of share my experience to make it easier for others going forward, I'm going to do that.
Looks like we're getting
sorry, go ahead.
We're getting a pull in Pali after it reached the pre-market high.
So here, look at this double top. That's right on 13. That was right on. And it hasn't broken it yet, but this isn't over. Let's see if it goes through there. Now, I didn't have this pulled up. What did the level 2 look like?
It looked like there was it's starting to get a little bit of a bulk of sell orders, around 815. I'm not sure if it's it looks like it's starting to thin out though, and maybe even start to put those sell orders a little bit lower and try to push the stock down. It looks like it wants to try to break out though and go higher. We'll have to wait and see.
Sure does. Volume looks good here. I'm looking at the time and sales. Here we are back up at 8. Let's see if we end up going through here. Real quick, I wanted to address something here. Jane saying, I can top that, Ryan. I had to go bankrupt. Look, we learn from mistakes. That's how we become better people. I'm not going to ever fault somebody for making a mistake, but did you learn from it? I know that's something that I do. Sam is asking me, how about that $600 Callaway driver? Sam, I don't even see that. I'm a tailor-made guy and Bettinardi through and through, so you can keep your Callaway driver. Not trying to start any fights with anybody out there. Okay. Let's see what else is moving on here. Spotify looks like that pulled back a little bit from that initial move. Might go higher here. How are some of the big chips doing? How's NVIDIA doing here today? Okay, a little bit of a continuation. We'll see if this ends up reversing here. It looks like it tried to go higher and stopped. How about SMCI? SMCI looks like this is already rolling over. I think we go lower here on this one. Look at this. Look at this move down from 1,000 here. 300-point drop in what feels like just a few sessions here. SMCI, I think this probably goes lower.
How much of a drop is that off the high? Let's see here.
This is what I like to see. This is how I know I'm at home. This is how I know I'm at home. Wiss, my guy out there.
So off the high, this one is low as about 45%. That's we were talking about this head and shoulders pattern here for a while too. So this move down was expected.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's go over that because we sometimes get asked about some of these patterns, and I know that we're always focusing on a new list of stocks every single day. So that's a really good point. Here's your left shoulder. Here's your right shoulder. Let me move the drawing tool out of the way. Here's your head. Here's going to be that line, and then bang, that breakaway from it. This is exactly the head and shoulders. That's the worst drawn arrow I've ever done, but you understand what I'm trying to get across there. This is the exact move here, SMCI. We'll see where this ends up finishing up here. Might get some support here at 682. Looks like it tried to bounce there once. We'll see what happens next. Let me delete that arrow. That's I'll leave that on there, but that arrow was really, really messing with me. That was really ugly.
Yeah, it looks like we're for Super Micro. You see how we've been putting in these past two smaller candles compared to the one that we got on last Friday. This is a start of, it looks like it's a start of a bear flag.
Yeah.
We could see the price retrace as high as 817. I don't think it'll get up that high, but maybe in a day or two we should start to see this go down some more.
Okay, so Tesla, looks like Tesla volatility still here, right? We traded up off the pre-market lows. We actually traded 2 full points up towards the highs. As soon as the market opened, this thing got yanked back down here. Let me look across the board here. Indexes all still higher here, so maybe there's a reversal coming. I don't know.
Nice call with Root. That's slow moving, but it's been moving up out of the gate.
That yesterday bottomed at like 49 right in here. No, not quite 50. Looks like the day before it was that 49.50.
Pali is getting halted to the downside.
Don't see it halted yet.
It's about to be.
Let me bring it up. See if we can beat the thing here. Boom, halted
And
to
there
the
it is.
downside, 703. Look at this double top here, straight up rejection on that double top.
Now you're going to want to wait to see if we get some support from these lower levels here. 635, 680 be the first two. If we break through those, then we're probably going back to start.
Edible, by the way, popping here. Just this on the scanner actually just disappeared. Let me bring it up manually here. So this is Edible Garden. This has been kind of a rager for us. Look at the area that it's trying to get above here. Watch this watch this 770 area. If it gets above that, looks like 770, that pre-market high. This thing could really kind of pop and trade back towards double digits if 770 falls. Keep an eye on EDBL. JK looking at this one. It's trying. Indeed it is. We'll keep an eye on that. See what else you guys talking about. SMCI, we took a look at that. NIVF, that was moving here. Did that trade finish? Here's NKGN. I saw someone mentioning this one earlier. Looks like that was not able to get to its VWAP. Here is NIVF. This traded to the top end of the range. We'll see if it takes that out here.
Wow. EDBL just shopping around like crazy.
Life
Big old
W.
spreads.
Lauren, good spot here. This actually looks like this might try to take out yesterday's intraday high. If you're swinging this, I'd wonder what some of your targets are. You're actually getting a pretty decent move here. Wouldn't necessarily expect for this to go into the two handle, but maybe if we pop above Life W, moving to the upside here.
Smart for Life might be finding a bottom here around the 570 area. The pre-market consolidation that we got up below that level is providing it support, so there could be a reversal coming in this one.
You know what else, 13, is that this is the exact level that we broke out in the pre-market, right in here, where we had that a little bit of expanding volume. We went through the VWAP and continued to trade higher. It's the same level that this found support at, the exact same level, right in here. What was that, 590? Yeah, 590-ish it looks like, right in there. Okay, UPS, I also noticed there on the relative volume scanner. That's, of course, United Parcel Service. They reported earnings here today. They're actually trading higher after a mixed quarter here. UPS looks like 144 was the bottom. 150 might be a test here on UPS. This can really break out of 160. I think this can start a march higher towards 200. We'll see if we get that. GE, this was also one of the names that reported earlier. Looks like some profit taking, got bought right back to balance.
Now Root just blasted off to 59.16. GUR had a nice move up to 650, but it is coming back down and trying to get support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. I see you guys mentioning Cooler. That one's had a nice move up out of the gate. Penny stock had a price target of $1. We'll see if we can get there. I don't know about today.
Root really popping here.
Yeah.
Bitcoin trading back up too. That's curling as well.
Zim still being nice with it.
NVIDIA attempting to go higher here. We'll see if it breaks out of that 810 area on NVIDIA.
All right, let's take a look.
Oh, Spotify. Rehab.
So Amazon and Tesla are slightly down today with the other, and Apple slightly down. I guess it's flat, Apple.
Tesla's trying to bounce here.
Yeah.
We'll see if this is a straight up bounce spot though.
Keep an eye on NIVF. It's putting in a bit of a bull pennant, and it's looking like it wants to try to break out of it. 165 is the level it's trying to get over at the moment. And
Palantir being mentioned. Haven't checked Palantir in a couple of days, I don't think.
It's moving.
That is ripping here. Nice little breakout on Palantir.
Mm-hmm.
See if this can get back up that 23, 24 level. A lot of NVIDIA calls getting bought. These are small lots. A decent AMD lot was bought there.
It does look like
calls still getting bought here on NVIDIA. This looks like this is trying to go higher here.
It does look like EDBL wants to try to break the pre-market high of 769. It's just very, very, well, not very, but it's kind of spready. You're looking at like 15, 20 cent spreads here.
PMI for April, 50.9 versus the 52.1 prior. Global services PMI 50.9 versus the 52 estimate. Market moving higher here on this drop. Looks like it's testing 503 here on the SPY.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, testing 503 right here on the SPY. Good shout there on the PMI.
Yep, it's certainly right up at that level, trying to push and close over 503 on the 5-minute. Don't think it's going to get it. At least not at the moment. Not this candle, I don't think. And if it does, then it's going to go higher. 505 would be on deck then next. And Palantir still pushing. Smart for life. Headed down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
NIVF ripping here. Who was on this one earlier this morning?
I don't know. Somebody. I remember seeing.
I remember seeing somebody on this one. Nice little move here, NIVF. IBRX, big knife down here. Did this get halted to the downside? Immunity Bio, big pullback here, pretty much back down to balance. FDA approval got met with some sells. Crow, looks like Crow was the NIVF. I thought smoked tuna was on that one too. I don't see tuna here this morning. Bull market popping here.
Yeah, Glenn mentioning AISP. That's airship.
I don't see that on the scanner, but we'll bring that up here.
Oh, yeah.
Pop here, low volume, it looks like.
Yeah, low volume, but that's a nice move. Almost 80 cents from the open. More like 70 cents. All right.
Let's see if SPY can get a close above 503 here. Pali, by the way, after that pull, trying to reclaim the VWAP. Let me get you on a better chart here. Looks like it's trying to reclaim that VWAP. Was rejected here. Volume actually looks like it might be collapsing a little bit. Something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, it's got a hold above that 680 level that it's getting support from right now.
Apple, Netflix at the highs, Tesla bouncing. So it looks like we're getting kind of the inverse of what we've been seeing recently here. Looks like a lot of these kind of bouncing back.
Yeah. IBRX still headed lower. Probably going to, it could be finding a bottom soon here, close to 5. There's a lot of consolidation from yesterday that it's going to fall into that might help lift it back up.
Affirm here, nice red to green move here on Affirm. So this really kind of sold off towards that 29. Where it looks like we're attacking 32.50 here on Affirm. I don't like this, but the action here pretty strong this morning. Verizon strong here.
Yeah, Verizon and AT&T were selling off yesterday, so that's probably just rebound.
Yeah, this looks like they reported earnings yesterday on Verizon.
Airship really taken off. At some point, it's got to be careful for this thing to Hindenburg.
Think people are adding Verizon for the dividend, maybe just adding on weakness after that pullback?
That sounds right.
It sounds about right. Yeah, so good call here from Jay. Jay, good to see you this morning. CDNS here. You know, we looked at this one in the happy hour yesterday. Yep. Jay's exactly right here on the strength. Let's highlight a couple of things that we were taking a look at. So CDNS got absolutely destroyed yesterday on earnings, traded down to this 260 level. If we actually flip over, let me get my bigger chart in here where it's going to be a little bit easier to see. Let me show you why that was significant. If you take a look at CDNS here, you can see we really kind of came in towards this 200. We didn't quite get it. Now it looks like we're trying to bounce. So looks like we're trying to kind of change the sentiment here. We'll see where this ends up closing here. If this does bounce from where we're at here, 291, 300, not out of the question. CDNS, as Jay's alluding to here, this is impressive strength given the move down here. Also goes on to add SNPS also ripped off the lows, similar business. SNPS is, of course, Synopsys. Very, very similar action here. Good call on this one, Jay. You own these two? Or either one of them?
Okay.
NKGN is making that move back to the VWAP. We'll see if it gets there.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of pull from in some of these stocks here. A lot of red candles showing up.
Showing up on some of the bigger stocks too. Amazon rolling over here. Could not get above 179, which was your high from yesterday, your intraday high. NVIDIA stopped at that 213 a little bit area. A little bit. I don't know why I said that. Look, stopped at that. Let's see. Yeah, 813. Okay, it went a little bit higher than that, but kind of reversed off that level. Looks so far like it's holding VWAP here on NVIDIA.
Yeah, big move on spot. They had earnings. Mar up. Yeah, how's Bitcoin? Are we back up to 67th? No, we're not yet.
Not quite.
Close.
We actually tried to make a run at it, and we were rejected there. 66,500 on the futures chart for me. 13.
Well, all right. Yeah, just kind of. Sorry. Oh,
you're all good. Path is getting mentioned here in the chat, so I figured I'd bring it up. Path getting mentioned here by Glenn. We've actually taken a look at this one. UiPath. It's another AI name. This has really kind of been junky, at least recently. Looks like this is trying to roll. We'll see if this ends up trading back up here. You know what? I'd be curious. What does the group think on UiPath here?
Oh, this thing is getting a bounce off being oversold. RSI went under 30.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like yesterday and the day before, well, actually went under 30 for quite some time. So it looks like this is trying to get back to around 20. I don't know how high it goes after that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a potential trade here, stop at 18 and a half or maybe even 18. That gives you a $1.30 here to the downside. Could see this trading back up to 25, maybe 2 to 1 risk to reward there. Maybe a little bit higher than that. On Path here, this was an AI name. I don't have a line on this. Let's ask Happy Hour about Path. Excuse me.
200-day SMA is at 1994.
That was a good year.
That
was a good year, man.
So I think that gives you some upside resistance.
Yeah, so here you go. But if you could reclaim that, maybe get a close above that. Here's that 2260. This is your 50-day moving average. 2317, your 100-day. Path could go higher here if it reclaims this. Pali, by the way, really struggling to get back above its VWAP here. That yank beneath the VWAP. Look at how clean this is. Totally using that VWAP as resistance here on Pali.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the S&P just kind of, the SPY traded between 505 and 503 for a day or two.
Pulte Group reporting earnings. This actually higher. This was much higher. This was as high as 115. Pulled back and actually went red. Now it went back green. Maybe we'll ask Felicia about Pulte Group, see if we got anything out of the earnings here. Here's NIFV. Looks like that stopped here at 180. Maybe a move back to the VWAP here to reload that. We'll see.
We're getting a mention from Will on SoundHound, SOUN.
Taking a look at Tesla here. This thing's been really volatile here. So another huge move off this 141. We've got a 3.5 point move going on right now in Tesla. Really, really strong here. Did we have anything? This is ahead of the earnings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see any news ahead of this. Keep in mind, as 13 and I mentioned earlier, earnings after the bell here on Tesla's leads the group.
Just be careful. Yeah, Cooler still moving up. Palantir still moving up. Do we have any of these other? I wonder if it's a big military day today.
J830 guest David Prince lies this bio. I think you meant likes this bio. Correct me if I'm wrong, because that's really important. That is an important typo. I think you mean likes this bio. Ticker IMNM. That's Immunome. It's been whacked with the XBI. The CEO came from SGen, sold the company a few billion, volatile name, but been nibbling. Good stuff there. And you did correct that to likes. Okay. See, I speak trader, Jay. I speak trader. So sometimes I can't make it all, but a lot of the times I can. Okay. INNM. Nibbling here. If we take a look at that chart, I like that you're kind of buying this after it's been, IMNM. Boy, these tickers, man, they'll get you. Here you go. Like this maybe a little bit closer to the 200-day. Maybe it does come in a little bit more, but nibbling here makes a lot of sense. Starter position on IMNM.
Pally pushing.
Go back to my main workspace here. Pally was one of our top watches for the day here, 13.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you think we get 8 this time? Nice big volume pop there. What do you think?
I'm looking to see if this is going to actually take out that pre-market high of 819. We got rejected out of there earlier. This second trip up, I'm looking for it to break.
All right, so this VWAP really told the story here. It was button up against that VWAP. When it broke it, that gave you a green trade here. Might have lightened into that if you were trading it. We'll see if we end up going higher here. Pay yourself, make the rest of that trade free, or lower your cost basis.
I wonder if we start to get more volume expansion, if it'll have the strength to push up to 10. That'd be cool.
Jay, I'm with you on this one. And this is one of the reasons, despite calling biotechs as being kind of a strong sector, at least in the first half of the year here, this is what makes it difficult. Jay's highlighting a really important part here. You sort of have to buy them when they're hated. This is one of those trades where you kind of have to hold your nose and buy. And a lot of times when you have a environment where things are not great, it's not easy to do that by any means at all. A really good mention here, Jay.
Remember INOD?
Do I remember INOD?
I decided to start an entry position because I want to try to play the weakness for earnings. I still think there's going to be more downside to this, but I'm starting to build a position now. Okay,
and actually you are at a potential bounce level, so maybe you're even able to kind of trade around your core there on INOD. Good job waiting this out and not buying this in the 12s before it got cut in half or more.
Yeah.
Carmen is asking, is anyone watching EDBL? Yes, Carmen. While you were getting your coffee, we were watching. Oops, I just did the wrong one. EDBL. We were watching Edible Garden earlier. And go to that intraday chart, and I'll show you what we were looking at. Right in here, this 750 level, clearly a spot that it needs to take out. In fact, this came back down to VWAP here. It's just kind of hanging out here. If you look at this 750 to maybe 775, this area was yesterday's upper resistance as well. This is the area that we got to clear out here. Until we do that, really nothing new here. In fact, this actually has a chance to pull back unless it can actually take that out here. But this is what we're watching here on EDBL. That first move out of the gate pushed us right into that resistance area. That's what we're waiting on at the moment.
Yeah, Cooler got a knife after reaching 57 cents.
Okay, it looks like NIVF also got a knife here. This knifed back down and through the VWAP. So now we got to try and reclaim that VWAP. You got it, Carm. No problem. Good morning, by the way. Good to see you. Rustam, good morning, my dude. Good morning, everyone. Made some small cash on SMFL. Well, you're going to get a register ring for that, Rustam. That's how you start off a day. Okay. Well, looks like you're playing some patterns there. Absolutely love that. CZOO halted up here. Good mention, David. That is right here. Oh, my goodness. We had 3 1-minute volume sticks here that really kind of took this thing to a new level. CZOO halted. Do we see any news on this? Don't see any news. And look, I get worried when I flip over to the news tab and the first story that's related here relates it to Mullen and Weight Watchers. Okay, not a good start. Not a good start for CZOO. David, good call, though. This did trade up into a halt here. Spot trying to hold on to that 307 area.
Yeah,
Tesla ripping higher still, man. I'll tell you what, that reversal on Tesla, that's what I should have traded here today. That is what I should have traded here today. Once again, I'm being reminded that I should probably have my eyes on some of these bigger names. They are giving me the moves that I'm looking for. You seem to be a little bit more attainable here. Tesla looking really good on that move. We're getting home sales news here. U.S. home sales for March, 693,000 versus the 668 estimate. That number's a little bit hot there. U.S. new home sales month over month for March, 8.8% versus minus 5.1% prior. So this is interesting because the new home sales, these are the ones where the builders can control those interest rates. A lot of the buyers are buying them with cash here. This is a discussion we've had a number of times in happy hour. This is kind of what we'd expect. It's the existing home sales that seem to be real difficult. Yeah. 13, do you get anything out of this read? I know you're present for all of those discussions.
This is, what we've been expecting, because new homes are the only things that are really available to buy.
Right.
Existing home sales, those are homes that you have a lot of older generations in that have really nice low interest rates if they're still paying a mortgage, or they have a reverse mortgage going on. They're staying in their homes for longer, and they're enjoying that equity. It's also one of the reasons why you're seeing a rise in HELOCs. So I think it's it's an expected number. We were expecting to see new home sales out, do better than existing. So I don't think this is unexpected, but it's just it just shows you that there's still a lot of hot demand for homes.
Indeed, and the new homes are really kind of carrying the load at the moment. Real quickly right here, who said this? Jay Breed. Good morning, Jay Breed. Right, look at PanW. So PanW, this is one of the stocks that we've been waiting for on a swing. We've been waiting to see what happens with this consolidation around the 200-day. Sure looks like we're finally breaking out of that here. The really good news for PanW, if you've been following the 200-day and how we've been trading some of these around the 200-day, 1, 2, 3, 4 closes above it. Today, we're actually going higher here. Jay Breed, hopefully you're long PanW. This one looking good. I'll be honest, last couple of days with preparing for the draft here, I missed this one. And I'm really disappointed because this is one that I traded perfectly the first time it came down to that 200-day. And I've actually been waiting for kind of a longer swing here on PanW. This looks like it's going. If this stops at that 293, 294 area where the 50-day is, maybe comes in a little bit more, we'll do a starter ad here. PanW. Great call, Jay Breed. Hopefully you're long and strong on this one. Looking good off that 200-day.
Fairchild Air. I don't know who DJI is, but if you're looking for a
Dow Jones Industrial Average.
Well, yeah, that's DJIA.
Well, that's DJI isn't. Hang on a sec. Let me see something here. Well, I'll let him answer, but I'm pretty sure DJI. I
don't think the Dow Jones makes drones either.
No, that would be something, wouldn't it? Nope. DJI isn't anything either.
It's a Chinese drone company, so I guess they're not publicly traded. But anyway, okay. I would look at AVAV. I think that's going to be
D saying I got clapped by PanW for being greedy. Yep, that'll happen with being greedy. You don't want to get clapped. AVAV, interesting chart here, by the way, 13. Mm-hmm. Look at this. Looks like this is still trying to break out of this consolidation area. Maybe we test 184 here, given what's going on in the world right now. AVAV, potential swing. What do you guys think of this?
I mean, if you back out and you look, you could look at a longer time frame like weekly, but if you look at it, keep it on the daily and just back out, so you can see going back to 2016, you can see how we kind of run up and then kind of make these cups, kind of make these rounding bottoms and then go higher, make a rounding bottom, go higher. So, just looking for the next kind of rounding bottom, I guess. But it seems as though every time that we get these new highs, we break out and kind of consolidate above that new high before getting lower, rounding, and then breaking above that again. You just put some horizontal and trend lines up on this, and you can see you get a better idea of where these levels are and how this thing trades.
Yeah, this 120 a clear level here, 145 a clear. This is a really good point, 13. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add those horizontal lines right now because I suspect we're going to come back to this stock at some point. Yeah. Right? So we might as well have these levels in here. You're giving them to us free of charge, of course. So we'll go ahead and add them here. I've got it at 144 and 119 thereabouts. In fact, my OCD is going to end up bothering me here. So let me go ahead and edit this. We're actually going to.
My favorite levels are just taking the highs from the rallies and then just drawing a line there. So I've got one at 121.32, 143.72, and 184.61. I'm just taking the highs.
Okay, here we go. I like this one here. AVAV. I like the thesis here. Flip back over to the main workspace here. Let's take a look at that scanner. I see a lot of people mentioning OPRT. This is Opportune Financial. Looks like this just set new highs, pulled back to the VWAP. We'll see if we reclaim this VWAP here. Well, market actually looking pretty decent here today. Index is all holding higher here.
Not bad.
So far, I know it's early. Jinx here up. I'll knock on wood here, so it's not my fault. Oh, Jay Breed, dude. I waited about 3 weeks for that setup, and I am long. I'm not going to give you a preemptive cash register ring because I don't want to be at fault here if stock reverses on you. But I will give you a one-up there, Mario style, because this is exactly the type of stuff that we're talking about. This is how you be patient, follow a name that you're looking for, and then jump on it when you see the setup. This process will serve you long time going forward here. Great stuff, Jay Breed. 13, I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. You got this?
Sure. What are we looking at? Crow mentioning DXYZ 30 plus. Well, we just went there. I remember seeing this one. This was an IPO that just absolutely rocketed all the way up to what, 100, over 100. And we're just starting to get a 20-day SMA to show up. Yeah, I could see 30. We're not too far away. If we do go up higher, then maybe 37. What do you think? You think 37 is about as high as we go in the short term? Let me know. NIVF rejecting VWAP. This one. It looks like it's trying to get back above it at the moment, but I see that there's a huge sell order that it's trying to chew through right now at 161, and it's so far doing it by the 10,000. It's getting there. It might pop right here. There it goes. How about that?
All right, we're back here.
So we just watched NIVF get a little pop through 161, where there was over 100,000 shares.
That was the VWAP, it looks like.
Yeah, it broke over VWAP. It actually traded up to my VWAP, which is at 165. So getting a pull. Don't know that this is going to recover. It's trading right now between the 15 EMA and the 15 EMA on the 5-minute and VWAP.
Jay Rice here. I love this call too. Jay, couple of really good things here today. Really like this. Let's take a look at A-Lab. This is a recent IPO. Crow, I think you traded this around the actual IPO. This thing was a monster really early on there. Excuse me. If I go back to the daily, one of the things that Jay's mentioning here is that the dip buyers came in. So you can see here, we really kind of just dipped and sold off here. This was that Friday, wasn't it? Yeah, that really bad Friday in the chips. Dip buyers came in, bought this thing right back up. We're up almost 10 full points off that low print, Jay, right back into this consolidation area. When this consolidation area finally breaks, I know we kind of broke out here, but to your point, dip buyers really kind of rescued us. Think maybe this does go higher here. If it does, I think 100 test is not out of the question. I know we're only at $70 here, but I really think that this is possible. Not sure if we break down on this. We'd really need to see NVIDIA and SMCI crack, I think, to bring this one down. Can't remember if you have a position in this one, but would like to know what you think about this. This is a really good mention here. Dip buyers did kind of hold this one. Pali holding lower here. How's AGBA doing?
It is, well, it's trying to
That's
find
going
a bottom.
lower. Yeah, this was, we got, so we've talked about this quite a bit too, right? This was one of the big runners yesterday. kind of the opposite here today. Now we're right back at that consolidation area here. Let's see if we end up breaking, coming back in. Kingdom Lamb asking, is it time to curl here? Well, Kingdom Lamb, you are at a support area. So if we curl up off this area, perhaps we can make a move back towards the VWAP first. Got that at 274. 3 would be next.
It looks like it could. I mean, we are coming off of a after hours and pre-market head and shoulders in AGBA. I don't know if you can see that. But it looks like down around here is where it needs to bottom. If not here, maybe a little bit lower at 220. But yeah, this is coming off of a head and shoulders that we can see from the after hours and pre-market.
220 here, by the way, the bottom end of that sideways range that we're talking about. Good stuff there. Jay, to kind of follow up here on ALAB, been trimming on the way up. Okay, so you bought that pullback. Interesting. You bought that ALAB pullback, that weakness that we got on Friday, and now you're paying yourself on the way back up there. Good stuff. Would have liked to know what was your stop or what was your exit plan if you didn't get that move back up. Were you looking to maybe hold this, or did you have a stop set? CZOO getting mentioned. This is halted again now, or excuse me, this is resumed again. It has been halted twice. This is the second resumption. I beg your pardon. Going higher here. $9 looks to be the next spot if we test this here. CZOO. This one a little too rich for my blood, but for those of you that are hitting this, grats.
Yeah, IBRX just continuing to break down. Going lower than or headed lower than the price action yesterday. Not too good. Looks like Soundhound did well though. Broke out of 4, got up to 411. If this continues, I would be eyeing 450.
This is SOUN. Let me flip over to that.
Airship. Sorry, I was going to mention Airship. Airship had a run up to 813 and came back in under 8, and it's trying to get support from VWAP, and so far it's looking good, but not sure if it's going to be able to get back above 8 again. But just keep an eye on it. Maybe make your own decision on this one. It looks like it might want to go higher, but the MACD is kind of telling a bit of a different story.
NVIDIA calls getting bought again. Again, not huge lots here, but several call buys. Looks like a put buy as well. That one's smaller than the calls. Soundhound is at the top end of the range here.
To answer your question, John Moo, I don't know what is going on with Palantir. I think this is just a big move in a lot of the military-related names. You could look at like Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, really
that
good
one's
call
up.
on that.
Really
good call, 13.
RTX is up. Northrop Grumman is up. Even the index ITA, I'm not the index, the fund ITA is up. It seems like aerospace and defense is doing pretty well today. Maybe the big exception being Boeing, even though that's kind of more flattish, but it's not up. Is all. So, but yeah, Palantir topping out at 2201 on my chart here.
Getting a question here from T-Mags about AMD. Now, AMD, this is an interesting one. When we take a look at the chart here, I'd be curious to know what your technical analysis is, and I'd be curious to know what the group thinks about this one. But when I look at this chart and I look at this action, to me, this really, really seems like we want to come in here and touch this 200-day. I think we probably want this another 15 points lower, honestly. Maybe we don't get it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that ends up keeping somebody out of the trade here. But to me, this sure looks like a test of the 200-day is coming at some point. I would not be interested in buying right up here. Wait for the next day of weakness. See if you can get this closer to the 200-day. Now, sorry, 13. Real quickly here, he added selling the rip. Okay, so maybe if you bought this here at 145 or bought this on when this really kind of plunged on Friday, very much like ALAB, I guess, which we just talked about, I think selling into that move on the way up is quite smart. I think this is actually going to help you maybe trade this a longer term here. For just a potential swing trade here, I'd really want to see a retest of the 200-day. 13, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No worries. We do have earnings in 7 days. So if we continue to go down, that would, probably create a really good buying opportunity. As I'd imagine there would be some traders that would want to pick this up going into earnings. That's not the type of trade I'm going to do. But I do like the 200 SMA for support. I could even say, lower down in the 130 might be possible as well. But I think that we're still headed down from here, but it does look like that this down move is beginning to show signs of slowing.
Okay. You're welcome, T-Mags. Thanks for bringing it up. Dr. Manred saying military aid from Congress is helping the defense stocks. Yeah, that's part of that thesis, without question. I see my first GL mention of the day here, so we're going to take a look at that. This has just been absolutely incredible. This, again, printing above 70 now. So for any of you that took this bounce play here on GL off the Fuzzy Panda short report, that has probably been one of your best trades of the year on GL here. So real good stuff. You love to see it, frankly. You just love to see it.
CZOO has halted to the downside after hitting a high of 913. And IVF still in the process of curling up.
Market's still slowly grinding higher here. We just took a look at AMD. How are some of the other bigger names looking? There's SMCI. Looks like this is trying to go higher here. Okay, so this trying to take out levels that were breached on Friday when the stocks, what was that, 200 points? What was the actual move there on Friday? Moved from 924 to 70. It was more than 200 points to the downside in SMCI. Gosh, what a trade that was. How's NVIDIA holding up here? Okay, NVIDIA moving higher, trying for that 815 area. And see this already retraced more of that sell-off on Friday. This actually looks pretty decent for NVIDIA here. Lion Atlas saying GL has been the best trade of the year for me, hands down. You're going to need a bigger boat, dude. That's wild. Really good stuff there, Lion Atlas. Getting all types of sound drops there.
SMFL, I'm not sure about this one. It looks like it's trying to turn around with this consolidation area that we got in the pre-market. I just would be careful. If we get a rejection of VWAP, if this does move back up, I'd be concerned about this putting in a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. So just be careful in that stuff.
Okay, SMFL. Really see if we can kind of curl up here and make a move back towards that VWAP. I don't want to write it off just yet. Pali actually looking for a very similar type of thing. We'll see if this can actually trade back up to the VWAP. Got about 55 cents worth of movement there. If we do get that. Spotify, interestingly enough, rode right along its VWAP. Now popping here. We'll see if it takes out intraday high here, about 315 on Spotify. If we take a look at the daily chart here, you can see that 315 break would be pretty juicy here on Spotify. This stock looks absolutely vertical daily, weekly, and monthly time frames.
Swede, answer your question. SE, the interesting thing about this one is that we golden crossed back in March, been kind of moving up and trying to take out the
which ticker? Sorry,
this is SE.
SE, thank you.
Yeah, it just took out the 500-day SMA after trying to close above it in March 14th. Came back down, got support from 50-day SMA, broke through the 500. It looks like it wants to go higher to me. How much higher? Not quite sure. I'd start by saying maybe probably 65 would be the next level I would target for this one.
Okay.
I really can't tell you what the upside is on this one, but it does have a nice looking chart.
I really think it's got to break 62 as its next stop here. Then we'll see if we can go up towards 67, ticker SE. Real quickly here, STFU is saying the way Ryan says SMFL sounds like he's cursing in French. Thank you. I guess, is that the Chicago accent coming through here that makes me look like I'm cursing in French? I'd never even thought about that. It's the first time I've heard that. Hopefully I'm not offending any of our French or French Canadian viewers.
SMFL, pardon my French.
If I'm going to have to start saying that every time, that's big trouble. Big trouble. John Moo asking the $64,000 question of the day. How bad will Tesla's earnings be? I'm assuming based on your question here, you think that they're going to be poor. Would love to know what's playing into that one here. I'm not playing the Tesla print. Judging by the action that we've seen here, really, really high volume here on Tesla. Really strong reversal here on Tesla. Got to think the Tesla cult, and again, that's an enduring term. I'm not criticizing anybody. Got to think the Tesla cult kind of likes Tesla here for the earnings. We'll see what we report here. I got no line on this one way or another, frankly. I got no idea how they're going to report here today.
I'm not holding Tesla into the earnings because it's not so much that I don't have faith in Tesla or Musk or any of that. It's just that I'm not sure what the market's going to do. So if it could be really good earnings, and then the market sells off on profit taking or future headwinds that they mentioned in their conference call or earnings. It could be some reason that they're going to look forward to either get out of it or to pile into it. I'm not sure which side of the trade is the best to be on, so I'm not going to trade it. And that's all there is to it.
Lion Atlas, it's been a while since I spoke French. I'm not even going to try. Plus, I don't know what you're saying. And if you're getting me to say bad things, then I don't want to do that without knowing. LOL, though.
Yep. NIVF getting mentioned here. It's trying to make its way up to the 180 intraday high.
Here is your NIVF. Jay's Life. Okay, I'm up $9 on NVIDIA. I'm going to sell some of my shares here. We're going to give you
Great success.
I gave you a great success instead, but here you're also going to get a cash register ring as well. Good job, Jay.
SML. I'm sorry. Pardon my French.
Pardon your French, baby. Let's go.
Pardon my French. Is curling. Yeah, is curling up. It looks like it wants to take a shot at VWAP.
It doesn't help that Tesla's doppelganger Tizania Life Sciences, ticker TLSA, not TSLA, doesn't help that that's trading up here today. I keep seeing it on my scanner. I'm like, oh, Tesla's doing something. And then I realized that, I just misread it. Yeah, Borat's pretty good stuff. It's mean. Don't worry. We know you're having fun. See? Like I said before, I was born at night, but not last night. NKGN, this was another one from our list here, straight up rejected at VWAP, has really not been able to get any of the strength back. NIVF has really kind of been the strong one of the day. Just as I say that here, pop on volume through those highs here. Yesterday's intraday highs here, about 190 up on deck. Let me bring this up in my broker here. We'll take a look at NIVF.
Yep, NIVF that broke. Yep.
Here we go, 186 your high print here. Don't see a whole lot of size. Volume looks really good though. STFU saying blue sky above the 189 here if it ends up snapping that. 280 is the biggest high I have. That's back from, what was that, April 4th? Here we go on NIVF.
So with this IPO and just drop out of the IPO, I just don't have a lot of data on this one yet. It looks like it could be blue sky all the way up to about what is this, 280?
Here we go. We're coming at that break here. Then we'll look at SMCI. I know that's bouncing like crazy here. 191, your high print there. Still don't see the size on the level 10, maybe a little bit there. Take care of yourself, Nicholas. Thanks for stopping by. They keep bringing in bids right under this on NIVF. Looks like they're trying to take it higher. Be very careful about the pull now that we're extended away from the VWAP. Be careful here.
Nice job, STFU. Okay.
This thing's going for 2 right here. Watch for a pullback on this, folks. If you're trading this, just be careful.
Yeah, and I've got that opening IPO price at 280.
Wasn't, it was Andy, right? Andy's always the one, a Mighty Soldiers, looking for those 100% rippers. That was something that he talked about the last time that he was in here. This NIVF might be going for that. We're up 52.3% here, but if this really gets rolling, this could move to new highs here. Which other chat you're looking at? Is it a BZ Pro thing? Yes, I actually am active in 4 of the different BZ Pro chat rooms. Shout out to BZ Pro and shout out to 13, who moderates our happy hour chat room. Just kind of a suggestion, and he just ran with it. Does a fantastic job. So if you're on trial or if you're in a pro member, definitely check out the happy hour chat room.
Looks like we have EDBL falling out of bed.
How's that CZOO Halt Fest doing? Okay, so this really pulled back $2 already. Okay,
it's unhalted, and it looks like it's finding support right here at about 730. Might curl and try to go back to 880 if it can get through VWAP.
Spotify looking like for new highs. How about Zim, folks? How about Zim here? 1150, another push. Sally, you were on this earlier, weren't you? I think I probably skipped over this because there was a lot going on. Zim looks like this is going for the highs here. This has been a pretty decent hold here on Zim. We take a look at this chart here. Looks like we're maybe curling. Maybe we can get back towards that 15 area.
Almost looks like it's trying to put in a bit of a skewed inverse head and shoulders.
It's like a little crooked there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're saying on this?
Well, you're right. You were right over that right shoulder. Now you're between the head and there's the head. No. That whole thing right there is the head. No, to the left.
This right here.
No, right. No.
This.
That's the bottom of the head. Yeah. And then the left shoulder is further more to the left. More.
Right in here.
More.
So you're saying
right,
like this, and this.
Well, that you circled is the inverse head and shoulders that's kind of skewed. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's got a small left shoulder, big head, drooping right shoulder. What we need to see is a return to 12, and then we'll be back above the neckline.
Here's your 1 month chart. What Smoke Tuna is saying, look at the 1 month chart in the MACD, which I don't have on here. Let me turn that on real fast. Here is your MACD. Smoke Tuna. I know it's tough to see here. We got the histogram expanding, though. I'm going to turn this off. This just clutters up this chart too much.
Yeah, that it looks like we're about to go positive on MACD. So next month could be good.
Zim looking good here today. Good stuff on that one. And look at this. Look at the volume recently.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the volume recently in here. Sally, hope you're still around. This one's working out here. Let's take a look at SMCI here. At this move here. 10%, $72 move here, SMCI. Tell you what, trading this to the downside on Friday and to the upside today here, really, really profitable. You tell me where this thing stops. Nice clean bounce in here, though. Sweet green bouncing here after that pullback. Interesting.
That sweet green. How many of you got sweet green today?
Where's Wisdom at? That was our first weed leaf here. 2 on INVF, by the way. That happened right as we were looking at it. Stopping right here at 2. Looks like they have a refresh seller going there at 2. And now right through it, and they filled it back up again. Okay, this
Easy,
2
Mike.
area is definitely going to be a battle here. Easy Mike, what's going on? What's going on, Easy Mike? Good to see you this morning.
It looks like we're headed towards 280. Now, I'm not guaranteeing we'll get there, but man, it's moving there. It's moving that direction.
Sweet greens are made of these. Oh my.
Who am I to disagree?
Who woke up this morning? Who woke up this morning and was like, yeah, the guys in live trading, they're going to be quoting Eurythmics. For sure, that's what's going to happen. I got that on my bingo card here for today. Nobody. We surprise people every single day. And IVF going higher here, 205s now. Easy Mike, listen, classic song. Sally, hello. Curtis liked it. Hey, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure I could spell it correctly either. I just remembered the name of the group. Don't worry, Easy Mike. It's not a spelling test. We don't grade on that here. IBRX, you were looking at this one earlier. This thing did nothing, dude. This just completely round tripped after that FDA approval. Yikes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so HWH, that was another one. We talked about that at the onset. It never appeared on the relative volume scanner, at least not to my memory. When I look at the chart here, down we go. Down we go. Saying that the miners are rebounding. Is that going to be a Mara and Riot play here? Mara's up 10% here. Oh my God, on good volume too. Look at that move here on Mara.
Clean spark too. SPY just ripping. We're up. Did we get to 505 yet? We're right there. Yeah, we're at 505.
Lynn's asking, are you guys conducting your own cannabis conference this morning? No, it would be a lot more fun and funnier. There'd be more laughs if we were doing a cannabis conference here. 13 and I set up our own cannabis conference. All bets are off. I'm just going to put it that way and leave it at that.
Listen.
Man, listen.
Listen. The professionalism of this show may go completely out the window if we start doing that.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to sacrifice that. And IVF here right to the highs. It's been rocketed through too. Volume really kind of picked up here.
Wow. Bitcoin with a pretty sizable move through 67.
Yeah, I'm seeing some coin contracts get bought here too. NVIDIA as well. SMCI puts, interesting. Definitely some interesting, more NVIDIA calls here.
Wow.
Thinking about it is challenging us, saying, what is this professionalism of which you speak?
It pops up from time to time. You'll just be careful. You'll notice it. You just got to be careful and watch and just, you'll there it is. That's what you'll do. Goldman Sachs crossing the 420 area. Again, someone wake Wisdom up. Get him up off his couch. It's
SMFL. Pardon my French. Looks like this is going to the sewer.
Paramount, PARA. I don't like this, but the pattern that it has right now just is really enticing. I don't like the MACD.
Is this PARA? Did you say? I'm sorry.
PARA. The chart looks good, and that's about it. So there might be something happening here with this, but it's slow moving. I don't like the way the MACD looks right now. Just trying to put it up there if anybody wants to try to trade it.
Frank saying by Friday we're back to all-time highs for bears. We'll see if that's the case. That is actually a rather entertaining comment, to be quite honest with you. Jay's Life. I've got an unusual option activity calendar set in my Benzinga Pro that generally gives me an idea of option flow in here. I can tell based on the trade premium, size of the contracts, etc. Bitcoin highs 67,200 on the futures. VIX absolutely melted. VIX moved from a high of 2139. That was Friday, right? And has been melted all the way down to 1630. Looks like it's actually going lower here on the VIX. Jay saying here, SMCI, I still think that for it to get whacked over 200 points, because they didn't pre-announce, was a bit silly. It wasn't like they got warned or downgraded. But the other thing is that the entire sector on that day got hit. So if you take a look at the SMH, which is the ETF for that got hit. All of them got hit. It was across the board. So I think SMCI's was probably the worst for that pre-announcement. But look at it this way. It might give you an opportunity to buy it for a long side trade there. Lion Atlas saying something we've been saying for days here.
Yeah.
Take profit as you go. This market is showing weakness all over the place. Don't get caught up by any type of bull trap, right? If you get profits in any of these names, a lot of you guys are seeing that here. Jay has told you a number of times, both Jays, frankly, some of these stocks that they're trading, they're paying themselves on the way up. That's really good news.
Yeah, and it wouldn't seem that way with how the SPY just ran up to 505, but it is starting to pull a little bit. DJAF is mentioning Upstart. Take a look at that, see what's going on with this one. It's been having a move today, up over 6%. Gonna see what the news is here.
Hang on one sec. Got to check on something really quick.
All right. I only see one article here from Seeking Alpha. Is this what it's moving on? Is this, yeah, I'm not sure. If you see any news on this, let me know, because I don't understand.
On which one? 13? Which one?
UPST. Oh,
that's
maybe
Upstart.
Maybe it's squeezing. High short interest, days to cover over 5 could be doing that. I don't really see any news, so that would be my take. Never seen a squeeze. I don't really know what else can be moving this. So hopefully that helps.
Sorry, I'm just.
Marcus Sniper saying he left his computer on since Friday, and now he's paying for it. Are you mining? You mining that coin? NIVF still grinding higher, 213, the current high. I think this still looks like we're headed towards 280. Airship made a 5-minute candle close above $8, trying to hold above that right now so it can go higher and take out the intraday high of 813.
NIVF trying to go higher. Spotify looking like this might break and go higher. Pali breaking down. Yikes on Pali.
Yeah, it might be trying to find a bottom here, but volume doesn't look great.
Riot here, potential move back to the VWAP on Riot. IBRX, boy, that thing did nothing. BBAI, Big Bear. The first time I've seen this on the scanner in a hot minute here. BBAI pulling back to the VWAP.
The
Tesla new highs.
Smoke Tuna asking if rent is setting. So 1240 is the pre-market high I have in that one right now. And man, this thing is spready and the volume is crap. Not to say that this couldn't suddenly take off, but I think once we get to 1240, we might start to see that those fireworks. But until then, I don't know what's going to happen with this one.
OPRT might have a trade going right now as it's curling back towards the VWAP coming up off this bottom. OPRT.
Airship still looking good. Looks like these Bitcoin names are starting to roll over a bit. Yeah, Glenn, that's usually how it works. It'll definitely get there when we finish up. But we're knocking on the door of that 813 level, so a little bit more volume and we have an imminent break. That's AISP.
That actually was just on the scanner here before dropping off.
And there we are. 814.
New highs. New highs on AISP. All right, so stick around here, folks. In about 5 minutes, we're going to be starting with an all access, and then we're going to go over to Benzinga Live. So again, we got content coming all day here. 13 and I going for another 5 minutes before we turn it over to Zunaid. Really want to thank everyone for spending their morning with us, taking time out of their morning to spend it with us. You folks are awesome. It's great to have this community here every single day. 13 and I really appreciate it. Smash up the like.
Yep. You know what? It seems like 5 minutes is about all this market has left in it.
Well,
this thing
is we're trading that opening print.
Yeah.
No new day trades today here, but my swing account is rocking. So looks like a bounce back days for small caps.
Well, if your account's rocking, that course is going to be a knocking, isn't it?
Not today. Not today. I've got too much stuff to get all my affairs in order here before the draft. Like I said, look, folks, I know some of you don't care about sports. I'm sorry if that's the case, but this Thursday is going to be really, really awesome for not only for the people that are involved and care about sports, but also for our company. We got a lot of stuff going on for the first time. We're trying some new stuff. This is always an exciting time when you're trying to do some new stuff here. So, Sally, take care of yourself. Have a great day. Jay Rice saying, Mullen, oh my, I have to take a look at that.
Oh, it's taken off.
I mean, I'll let Jay remind us on how many reverse splits this is, but Jay's right. To move this up 30 cents here today. Look out. Market Sniper saying, I only care about the Denver Broncos. Well, they traded for Zach Wilson yesterday. So I actually think that means on Thursday they trade down. Little sneak peek there on what I think happens. We'll see.
Oh, Mullen actually had news.
Is it any good, or is it that they're closing their doors? Mullen's new high energy facility marks phase 1 completion of battery pack assembly line. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself, 13. I had to take.
So what? They took it out of the box.
I like how you're doing a cheap shot now too. Let's go.
Well, I mean, look, this is the kind of news that that frustrates me, and it's some of these stocks we were talking about this morning do the same thing where they just have an announcement and it's like a huge nothing burger.
Yeah,
but the new high energy facility completes phase 1 of battery pack assembly line. What's phase 1? Is that what they're putting it together?
Are those battery packs for leaf blowers or what?
I mean, do they take it out of the crate and put it where it's going to ultimately be fastened to the floor? I mean, I don't understand what phase 1 is. I don't understand why that's significant news. It's a step forward. I get that, but okay. Congratulations, off Maldonado.
NIVF continuing to move up here on NIVF. And actually, if we take a look at some longer time frames here, look at this. Look at this move that this thing has done. 250 next spot here, I think, on NIVF.
Well, I think we're going to the IPO price.
Okay.
I think we're going to 280. 280 looks like that's where it wants it.
Okay. AI Rod saying that Elf is off the shelf. Dude, Christmas was 4 months ago, bro. But Elf here making a pretty huge move. So, God, I shouldn't have even joked about this. This is an 11-point move, a little bit of a pullback here on an Elf. Rats if you're long this one.
What is this, a company in Middle Earth?
No, I wish that was the case. This is a beauty company. Makeup. In Middle Earth. Oh, take that. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. Okay. Just about a minute, we're going to be getting the Z-Man on here. We're going to be talking about what we've got coming up.
Looks like we have a lot of things pulling here. DJ, my friend Jason rents out e-bikes out of the Trek store in Midtown Detroit. Super fun riding that sweet Detroit riverfront. It is nice over there. I went out there a few years ago. What do you like about the miso story, Sydney? I'm just wondering.
Is it halted? Just couldn't help myself. Just couldn't.
Trying to keep that one in my back pocket.
You know what? Here though, miso. I just looking at the chart formation here. Maybe we do kind of curl and go higher here. TRSG being mentioned on a particular halt. This actually a downside halt. Look at how nasty this is. TRSG. Yikes.
Well, somebody's not happy with them.
No.
Yeah, Market Sniper. That's very true. We've talked about that. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. Yep.
Those younger influencers, they were talking up those beauty names, and then at one point they were talking about going for the cheaper brands, because they're more affordable and they still work really well. So yes, keeping an ear to the ground with what is going on TikTok is on that the beauty products front. That's a great way to get ahead of the trading, in my opinion. Good, that's great mention. Looks like IBRX finally found a bottom and is trying to come back up to VWAP. Don't know how much strength this thing has. Might not.
I mean, I'd be really careful with that one. That's shown no strength all day.
Yeah, even if it does get above VWAP, I'd be concerned about 565.
All right, it looks like we're ready to go here. Let's bring on the Z-Man. Zunaid, how you doing here today? What do you got on the docket coming up here?
Yeah, we've got an interview. It's been a while since I've done an all access. We've been doing them in person, so we get back a little bit in the virtual side of things. We're going to have Greg Guess, who is going to be on with us. He's the president and CEO of Artell Biosciences. Ticker is ARTL. And of course, we've got this today. And then you also have the draft event that we've got. You've got Calvin Johnson that'll be joining us. And you've got Ric Flair that'll be joining us. Woo! And a couple of other Olympic folks as well. So it should be good. Good conversation.
Okay, awesome stuff, Zunaid. Take it away. 13 and I are out of here. 13 really good stuff here today. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Zunaid, break a leg.
All right, appreciate it. And thank you, chat, for hanging out with us today. It's always great when you get to talk to executives from publicly traded companies, right? You kind of get some insights on what's going on with the stock, not just today, but also what's the company looking to achieve here in the future as well. And as I mentioned, we've got Greg here today with us, who is the president and CEO of Artell Biosciences. Ticker on the NASDAQ is ARTL. All access starts right now. Greg, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great this morning. How are you doing, Zunaid?
I'm doing well. Before we start, I see the 3 bottles that you have behind you. I really hope that you drink water out of them, because I have the same thing at my kitchen, but I don't. So it's just for show.
It's just for show.
I love it. Well, hey, welcome to the show. I'm looking forward to the conversation. For the folks that might not be familiar with your company, just give me a quick, brief overview of what is it that your company does.
Yeah, thanks, Zunaid, and thanks for the opportunity here. By the way, I will be making some forward-looking statements, and all of our public disclosures are on our website at artellobio.com. We're a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company focused in on lipid signaling modulation with 3 assets in development. 1 is in the clinic, 2 are preclinical, 1's about ready to go into the clinic. And we're going after billion-dollar market opportunities, many of which do not even have an FDA approval to treat that condition.
Yeah. When it comes to biosciences and companies that are in the biopharmaceutical side, what are some of the challenges that you personally face, right? I can kind of assume based on things that I read and talk to other executives, but what are some challenges that y'all face? And more importantly, how is your company best equipped to handle those challenges?
Well, we're at the forefront of science here. And I would say that the biggest challenge that we face here, particularly at Artelo, we have brand new science. We're actually the tip of the spear. The program that we're most excited about in the near term is a fatty acid binding protein 5 inhibitor. And there is no program that has gone into the clinic with this science. So the biggest challenge that we have is learning about the science and having the right talent on the team that can advance that science and get it into the clinic. Fortunately, we have been able to build that team.
Now, what the modification of the lipid signaling pathways, right? How is that effective in the alignments that you treat?
Well, so let me just give you when we talk about fatty acids, I just want to make sure all the hearers are understanding. So you can think of omega-3, that's fish oil. Everybody kind of knows what that is. And in the body, the architecture of cells, the energy that cells use, and the communication within cells is all done with these fatty acids. but and imagine if you owned the economy and you owned all the buildings, right? And you owned all the electrical grid, and you had all the telecommunications. You pretty much own the economy. So fatty acids are really, really important in our body's communications. And the transporter or carrier of those fatty acids are a protein called fatty acid binding proteins. The body has 10 of them, and we're specifically looking at FABP5, or number 5 out of the 10. And this has a lot of biological implications when inhibiting it. So in things like cancer or pain and inflammation, these proteins are upregulated, and bringing it back to normal seems to have some real potential in therapeutics development.
Well, so in that though, how are you able to, or I guess in that process and other things you're working on, how are you able to not have the cannabinoids not be present in the therapies as well?
So this protein regulates your self-made cannabinoids. Your body makes its own endocannabinoids, or targeted fatty acids or lipids that cause the signaling inside the body. So your body makes that own production. So we don't have to exogenously or from outside the body bring in a cannabinoid. We're actually regulating what's made inside the body and the fats, but it's also the fats that or lipids that come from the food that we eat. You know, if someone eats fruits, nuts, animal protein, fish, they're going to get these fatty acids that are regulated by the protein.
Now, I know you were just a finalist for Johnson & Johnson's Innovation Challenge, so congrats on that. But before I touch base on that, I wanted to go to news that came out earlier this year, how you announced a new peer-reviewed preclinical research. I know you mentioned that a little bit briefly. That's the ART2612, right? And that's the effectiveness of it. Is there more insights that you have on that? With any data?
We actually put some news out even this morning that that this fatty acid binding proteins do a lot of functions within the body. Yeah. In the area of pain and inflammation, which is the low-hanging fruit, and that's what we're filing our IND so that we can eventually later this year start treating patients. This regulates the transport of your self-made cannabinoids that go into the cell and get taken to a lipase called fatty acid amide hydrolase and get destroyed. And so you can increase your own body's levels of your self-made cannabinoids. You don't have to get cannabinoids outside the body.
Yeah.
The paper that came out this morning, the peer-reviewed paper that came out this morning, talks about this role of fatty acid binding protein 7 that's upregulated in many cancers like breast cancer, kidney cancer, brain cancer, and sometimes 20 times that of normal. And so bringing that back to normal levels seems to have some potential in various cancers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got Johnson & Johnson that also sees potential in what you're doing. I mean, look, how many times have we heard that, hey, it's the team that's running the ideas and the execution that really kind of makes things happen. Tell me why you believe that, you know, you were selected, and what does that mean in terms of the team that you have doing what y'all are doing?
Well, they were looking for something in atopic dermatitis, and we don't have any research that you can think of eczema. We don't have any particular research in eczema or atopic dermatitis, but we do have some data, some very good data in psoriasis. And I challenged the team. I said, think about a drug that's used in psoriasis that's not used in atopic dermatitis. And with that basis, Johnson & Johnson also recognized, like I said earlier, we're the tip end of the spear. We're really innovative science, and they wanted to get a hold of what we're working on and get that introduction.
Have you noticed, let's talk about the sector maybe a little bit, right? Taking a step back and we'll zoom back in. Have you noticed any tide change in the biotech space in terms of investments with maybe money moving back in the markets? Because it's kind of volatile sometimes, right? I know I just went to a cannabis conference in Florida, and I know that's always kind of an up and down thing, even though you have election year with results coming up later this year. What's your thought process? Any tide change in biotech investments?
There is a tide change, and it has happened at the beginning of this year. Unfortunately, it's it started at the very top, and it's trickling down to companies like ours. But I think what's really exciting about companies like ours is that when that tide change does come down, that there can be real exponential opportunity. And I've seen significant multiples when the attention is brought back to the early stage biotech companies like Artelo.
You know, companies that are in the biospace or anything in general, in any space, having good cash flow, making sure that your balance sheet looks good is always kind of important. Now, I know there's some things that you're able to speak on, some things you're not, you're publicly traded. So I want to let the viewers know that ahead of time. Were you able to how were you able to, I guess, is a better question, to reduce that net loss for 2023, right? But I think by approximately 0.8 million compared to the 2022. How are you able to successfully do that and make sure that you're healthy in the financial aspect of it?
We've been very, very thoughtful about our expenses, and we have not increased our staff over the near term past.
Yeah.
And we've been only spending on things that are going to drive us towards that finish line of the card flips. But that's the exciting thing about Artelo, is that by the investments that we've made, by next year, we could have 3 to 5 clinical stage data announcements, because we've really honed in on that. And some of the exploratory research, which is very important for long-term drug development, we've had to push a pause on so that we can focus on really getting to these near-term milestones.
Now, we've talked about so many different things with the past, the present, and, you know, kind of the future as well. Any topics, any insights that you were hoping you'd get a chance to talk to our viewers about that I didn't bring up? The floor is kind of all yours here.
Well, thank you very much. I think we've got what's really exciting about Artelo is that typically in small biotechs, people will place one bet, you know, put their stack of chips out, and then they'll get to spin the roulette wheel or let the horse run, and they get one chance at getting a return on that investment. At Artelo, it's a little bit different. We're asking really for one place of chips, and then there's 3 big milestones coming in the next 18 months across our portfolio. And I would say the deck is stacked in our favor rather than against our favor. Our lead drug has been in 250 people. We know the profile. It's very safe. It appears to be very safe. And only the FDA can actually say that it's safe. But it appears to, from the data that we have, very safe. And it needs to perform in the area of cancer anorexia, which there's no FDA-approved drug to treat. The second drug has shown tremendous safety profile in its preclinical animal studies, both in dogs and rats. And we're looking forward to that in humans. And then our last drug, which we really didn't get to talk about, our co-crystal, has shown tremendous opportunity in the treatment of anxiety. And 30 years ago, I was part of the launch of Xanax, and we really haven't changed the treatment of anxiety in the U.S. in 30 years. And I'm excited about what this drug in our portfolio can eventually do as well.
Well, I mean, if you listen to folks on Twitter, apparently doing 10 push-ups helps you with anxiety. So what do I know? But I mean, I can give you, another 30 seconds here. Do you want to talk about that drug or anything in the future that people can look forward to?
Absolutely. So we did a stress-induced rat model of anxiety and depression, and our drug in 9 different tests, 3 on anxiety, 2 on depression, 2 on sociability. Not sure why those balloons have gone off.
They're excited just as much as you and I are.
It's amazing. 2 on sociability, meaning interaction, and then 2 on cognition. You've heard, please don't operate heavy machinery while taking this drug. And in all 9 tests, our drug performed extremely well at 1/3 the amount of cannabidiol, therapeutic cannabidiol, that it was in the comparator arm. So we're really excited about what this can eventually mean potentially for people with anxiety.
Well, hey, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much again for the conversation. Like you said, you've got 3 things in the pipeline. Looking forward to hearing successful stories about all of them next time we talk.
So, Nate, thank you for your preparation. Thanks for the interview. I enjoyed speaking with you.
Absolutely. You take care.
All right. Thank you.
And of course, this is why we bring executives on, so you can get insights. And I really am looking forward to the anxiety aspect of it. That's one of the 3 things that they're working on. And so, as always, you've heard insights from the executives themselves, and do your own due diligence to see if this is worth something that's, your hard-earned money. I like the story itself. I like what I'm hearing. I look forward to seeing how things progress with all 3 different things in the pipeline. But that was Greg Gorgas, who's the president and CEO of Artell Biosciences. Ticker on the NASDAQ is ARTL. Thank you for watching All Access.